on this computer. Yeah, we're recording. Hello, welcome you, Maxwell. So happy to be with you on the Facebook Live and also on the room.
Well, hi, Spring. I'm very happy to be with you today, too, and glad that it sounds like we finally got all the technical stuff figured out as well as we're going to figure it out so we can do this. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm so happy, you joined our Facebook group, Abundant Entrepreneurs, maybe 1 or 2 months ago. I welcomed you and you shared your self-introduction in our group. And I said, it's so inspiring. I really need to interview you. I'm so happy today I fulfilled my promise and you are here with us. Thank you so much.
Right, and thank you for something else I didn't realize until today, that we were going to be doing this by Facebook Live. And I've done interviews in just about every format there is online, but I've never done Facebook Live. So thank you for letting me cross something off my list today.
Yeah, my great pleasure. I would rather to pay some, extra money to get the webinar from the room to go to live, because we could have the real life, real-time communication with our tribe. If anyone at this time is really on our, with us, they can ask the questions and we can have a live conversation with them and answer the questions or have some brief communication. That will be making it more fun than just you, speak and facing the camera, right? You feel like there's some audience right there beside of us.
Right, and of course you also get the advantage of, since you're using Zoom to get to Facebook Live, you have the recording, so you have these conversations in your own archive available to use whenever and however you want, and you're not having to go through hoops with Facebook to get that video back.
Yeah, I'm so happy today. This opportunity is also for you the first time on the Facebook Live at the same time with on the room, and it's also a learning experience for you as well. Like I suggested, you could add some desk light in front of you, and because now you really look like Jesus with the halo in front of your head. Beautiful. It's like a God is there.
Yep, I'm a radio god. I've been called a rock star, but never Jesus or God. It's good everybody knows that we're joking about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I've done video a lot, and I've even had people have me do a pre-interview just to make sure that my stuff is going to work.
Yeah.
You're the only person who has ever mentioned the lighting in this room. Everybody else has just been so happy that there was lighting that they, I guess, didn't pay attention to the effect that people would get when watching it on their screens.
Yeah. I know you are the king of the radio and all the audio stuff, but now I want you to really improve your visibility and your friendly interface with people. So it's always my great pleasure to give people feedback, so both of us can keep improving.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So today, I want to really interview you is about I call the Passion interview. I have the series of interview video posted on YouTube. I, visit those experts and entrepreneurs who are really doing what they love to do, and they have a great experience and the inspirations to share with people. So today is my honor to interview you, and I know you have a lot to share. And would you like to start now?
Sure. So where do you want me to start?
Let's say, when did you start your passion as I'm really impressed by your, you title, you call yourself the blind blogger. It sounds like it's your passion, right? You started from there. When did you start and how did you start it?
Right. Well, originally I started online 10 years ago with a website called the Midway Marketplace, where I help people sell surplus amusement equipment. I grew up in a family of carnival owners. When my dad died, our carnival went out of business, and so I needed something else to do, so I started doing that. And in the process of promoting the amusement equipment in the website, I started doing things online like writing a blog and being in social media and building email lists. And people started going, Max, the fact that you show up and continue to just find a way to do the next thing on your list and keep moving forward is inspiring to us. And we want you to share more about what it is that you do. And so I started a second website called The Blind Blogger, which I didn't choose the name. People online had basically been calling me that as a way of shorthand for a year or more. And so when I needed the domain name, they just suggested, Max, we've been calling you the Blind Blogger for a while. Just go ahead and see if that's out there. And it was. So I took it. And the whole point of the blindblogger.net is to share the personal experiences of running a business and the lessons people, including me, can take from doing that. And that started about 3 years ago.
Wow.
It actually started by accident. I won a competition on Aha Now, a blogging community.
Wow.
And the prize was a guest post. And I started working with the host of the site, Harlena Singh, on this guest post, and she wanted to know about my progress as a business owner and a blogger. And through the conversations we had online, we ended up with this great blog post, which is still over there. It still gets comments. It's probably the best blog post I've ever written, including my website, called what is it? Oh, Life Lessons from a Blind Blogger.
Okay.
And that was when I really finally accepted that, I had something important that needed to be shared, and that, letting people know how I did this stuff would maybe help them overcome the obstacles they have in their daily lives. And that led to me, writing posts about things like trying to figure out click to tweet or Pinterest, or growing my Twitter following.
Wow.
Just everyday things that would happen during the week. I would write about them, and then I'd find some sort of lesson. And people seem to have liked that. It ended up leading to me writing 2 books, and now I'm about to publish my 3rd book, The Blind Blogger's New York City Adventures.
Wow.
So, and I think that there are 2 passions at work here. One is the passion of just wanting to help other people, which is something I've always had. And the other is I've rediscovered my passion for writing that I had when I was in school, but lost once I was out in the world for a while. It's great that I can now make a living, putting words on paper, so to speak.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So actually, the market and the people really choosing you because you are bringing that inspiration and values to them. So because you did not give up on yourself, that's why they really push you, really lift you up as well. Then you are inspiring them. So would you like to share with us your most difficult and challenging time, and how did you really get out of that kind of maybe it's like darkness, and how did you get out of that?
I would say my most difficult time would have been, it would have been after I started the Midway Marketplace. It would have been 8 or 9 years ago. At that time, after my dad died, our carnival went out of business. For a while, we joined up with my uncle's carnival for about 3 years, and I continued to do the Midway stuff online, but part-time, not really serious about it yet. And my uncle and my dad and our families had competed against each other very heavily for festival and fair bookings.
Wow.
It was like, sometimes it was like something out of Dallas, the lengths that either side would go to either keep a fair or to get a new one. It was, and when we went out of business and we joined up with my uncle's carnival, it was like, come on, we didn't lose to these guys, did we? So and then after we were with them a while, my cousin, who I actually have to thank for this, years later I have to thank him for this because he did me a great favor by doing this. He put up some additional family games on the Midway that caused my games to no longer be able to make money. He basically forced me out of business on their Midway.
Wow.
So I went from a family that had a carnival to not having one, and then I went from being on somebody else's Midway to not having a reason to be there. And at the end of that year in the winter, I was thinking, well, if this isn't what I'm really going to do, then, what am I going to do? And that's when I finally decided to start working on the Midway full time. It's, it was maybe a year before that I had filed for a domain name, but I decided to stay home and let my mom and my brother continue to work the festivals with their food trailer. And it was just, accepted that I was no longer going to be in the carnival business, at least not as an active participant, because now I will be helping people buy and sell equipment, which is a whole nother end of the business.
Mm-hmm.
But the real thing was is I just had to accept that that was not part of me anymore, and then go forward. And, you know, for a while it was very upsetting and depressing. And it was actually really good that I could put myself into a business that, quite frankly, had a lot of challenges. I had so much to learn. I didn't have the first clue how much I didn't know it was that bad. You know, I knew I needed a website, but I didn't have the first clue how to build one. Then as I figured out a little bit how to build one, I decided, well, I need to start over and make this site my own. And, you know, having to learn how to hand code HTML, because as a blind person, you can't use a what you see is what you get type of website building application. You know, it's just figuring out how to recruit clients, even just figuring out how to get people to open my emails.
Yeah.
You know, it was all these things that I had to learn. It was, you know, working those 12, 14, 16-hour days. Sometimes having a new passion was really what got me out of this bad feelings that I was having about being forced out of the carnival business.
Wow.
And like I say, I have to thank my cousin, because I wrote about it earlier today. I commented on somebody's post on Facebook. I said, you know, I have to thank my cousin, because while he has more stuff, I have more peace.
Yeah. Even though you were forced into your current passion, actually, it's the best blessing to you and also other people, right?
Exactly. Because not only am I healthier mentally, emotionally, spiritually, not only am I doing something that's mine that I really love instead of doing something that was passed on to me by my father, there's always something new to learn. There's always some new problem or challenge. And if on those days when passion doesn't do it, there's always curiosity. It's like one of my favorite kinds of emails or questions to get is when somebody goes, Max, you've never done this. Have you thought about it? You know, like a few weeks back, somebody goes, yeah. I tell people all the time, one of the best things that can happen to you when you're in a bad place is to have a good friend double dog dare you. Because,
oh, wow.
You know,
that's wonderful. Yeah. It's amazing, you know, in your condition, like, because most people, even though they are fully like healthy without any like life conditions, they could find different challenges or different excuses to not do things. But I could not even imagine how could you handle all these kind of new things, technology things, and it's amazing. You can get on the Facebook Live and get on the Zoom. It's out of my imagination. How could you handle all this? So I'm just wondering, were you born blind, or you how to get this issue later in your life, and because you did not mention that. Oh, I was wondering why you were not really bothered by this condition.
Right. Well, before I answer that question, I want to mention that one of the ways that I've been able to do all of these things is because I don't think about the whole big list of things. I just think about the one thing I'm trying to figure out right this minute.
Okay.
And that helps a lot when you can focus on
focus.
Why is there a big black spot in my website instead of a photo that's supposed to be there? What did I do wrong? You know, just focus on even something that small until you figure it out, and then you can replicate it. As for my visual, I have retinitis pigmentosa, or RP. It's a hereditary degenerative disease that attacks the retina. I knew from an early age that I was losing my vision, but not why. At age 4, I had perfect vision. By age 11 or 12, I had lost enough that I was having to learn how to use a white cane and having to learn Braille. And then by the time I finished college, I had lost down to what I have now, which is what they call light perception. And I actually think that the fact that I have lost my vision gradually and had to continually adjust to new levels of vision and new ways to do things is actually one of the things behind how I'm able to make these changes and adaptations now. For example, in my life, I've gone from regular print books to large type books to books on flexible discs, cassette tapes, and even Braille to some extent, although I don't use Braille much anymore. I've gone from the typewriter, from a manual typewriter to electric, to a keyboard, and now to a smartphone, although I'm not real good at it. So, and the thing is there are blind people out there who are even better with technology than I am. I mean, I have friends who, when I get stuck, I call them and they start talking stuff to me. I'm like, come on, you're going to have to slow down and explain this to me in smaller words. Because there is this assumption that because I have these websites and blogs and I'm online that I know more about the tech than I do. And part of that is because I tend to be kind of a last person in with joining new tech. And part of it is some of the tech just isn't all that friendly for people who have to depend on speech. It just depends on the device, the app, whatever. One of the best things I did find in my early days of blogging was a program called Mars Edit, which is actually made by a company called Red Sweater. And I found out this week they've just come out with their 4th version of the software. And I wish they had a version of it for Windows, because it makes using the Mac so easy as far as creating a post and including links or uploading images. And I really enjoy it as far as making a blog post easy to where you don't really have to think about it while you're writing it. You could just type it as if you're writing freehand or freestyle, like most authors do before they get into the editing process. And when you're through, then you can you put all the stuff in it that makes it, the headings and bullet points and things like that make it a blog post. So that's one of those pieces of technology that really helped me. But I do believe the gradual change in my vision has benefited me in business.
Wow. But at the same time, that kind of process of gradually losing your sight, did that cause you any like a panic or any like pains on that? How did you cope with that?
No, not really, because when the vision started getting bad enough that I would need a cane or have to start learning Braille, the people in the high school that I was, or junior high and then high school that I was attending, they found ways to make the whole learning this new stuff fun. I mean, when there were many Thursdays or Fridays that instead of being in class, I was walking the streets of Houston, or I was figuring out how to ride the buses, or navigating the airport terminal, learning things that I would need to know as far as orientation and mobility, asking for help, getting my change, and locating different places in stores and stuff like that. So there were days when learning that stuff was made to be more fun than an obligation or something that, well, you're going to do this or else, and trust me, you won't like doing it, kind of thing. So that's really out of my imagination. I really admire you, went through that kind of a journey, and now you are here. It's really a great, inspiring experience. And I think that everything has a purpose, because you are here to bring all these story inspirations to encourage more people. And I actually, one side thought, when you were talking, I was thinking, wow, if you can help other blind people to get into this kind of like a blogging, writing, it's like a freedom zone. Help them to express themselves, help them to connect with this world. That would be wonderful. It will also be a great business for you as well. Yeah, that's true. And actually, there are many other bloggers out there who are blind or visually impaired, and I do my best to share their work on Twitter and Facebook and stuff to try to get them traffic, because I honestly believe this. I'm not the only blind blogger or podcaster. I'm not the best at it. I'm not the most consistent at it, and I'm certainly not the most talented at it. I'm just the guy who put his name out there among all the sighted people to where I became known as the blind blogger. So one of the things I love to do is to share these other people, like Chelsea Stark, who's a partially sighted photographer in Utah, or Michael Babcock, who's at Pasion.com. He's up in Oregon. He's my tech guy. There's lots of these people, but and one of the things that blind bloggers have in common with sighted bloggers is they're all trying to figure out, how do I get more traffic? How do I get more comments, shares, and how do I make more money?
Yeah, but you are the only one I know, who get into our coaching zone and also joined our Abundant Entrepreneurs. That made you really different because you really made outstanding, results. And also,
right.
Yeah, that's really make you
and
different.
That is, right. Yeah, exactly. That is the point. Instead of concentrating on other people who are also blind,
Yeah.
I focused on people just anywhere I happen to find them in the online world. And one of the great things to take off of your question a few minutes ago is I'm now getting contacts from people who are blind who are asking me, one, to help promote their sites, on a paid or commission basis, or the other thing they're asking me to do is they're asking me to get them booked on podcasts and radio shows, and so they can do interviews like this as well.
That's cool. Yeah, we will talk about what the specific services you're providing later. I mean, I know you will have a gift to share with people as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And here I also want to know, like now as a blind blogger, and also actually I call you the expert on the air. That's the course you will share later. You are the expert on the air. So,
I like that.
You love it. Yeah, because I'm all good at give people the expert branding. That's what I help people to find their niche and their expert brand. So I love to call you not just a blind blogger. You are now really doing things beyond that. You are the expert on the air. So good at attracting all those audio, radio, and broadcast shows, right? To share your inspirations with other people. And so I know that's rewarding, but I want to hear you to talk about what's the real rewarding you've already been receiving by doing what you love.
Well, yeah, I have had the pleasure of hearing from people who have been inspired and motivated by reading my books or following my blog. I've had great conversations with people from all over the world. I have managed to see other people grow in their own businesses because of work that I've done. And I have the pleasure of knowing that every day when I get up and start checking my email, every day there could be at least one email in there from somebody that's going to be a wonderful opportunity, a big new challenge, or it's going to go, Max, have you thought about doing,
this and that, right?
Yeah. I love those.
Wonderful.
The reason I mentioned that twice is because when I first started this thing, I had a very narrow vision of myself. At one time, I thought of myself as a carny. That was who I was. And then I was a carnival owner or former and an amusement equipment broker. And the more I started doing, the more of these questions I answered with, okay, well, maybe I don't know how, but that doesn't mean I can't do it. So maybe I can do these things people are asking about. The more I said yes to these questions that were coming to me from friends and people I had met online, the more I realized, there is so much more to me and so much more in me than I ever thought or could have imagined 10 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, it's really that a great openness, that kind of an open spirit and also curiosity, right? To keep yourself to learn new things and to take challenges and also grab opportunities. Yeah. That's wonderful. I think that's really a great quality inside of you that nobody can take away from you, right? And now you're doing your passion and nobody can push you out of your business anymore.
That's true.
You're now own your business.
Yeah.
That's cool. So would you like to share with people, what do you think is the key for success?
I think there are a lot of keys, but a couple that are really important to me is one is never be afraid to ask for help. When I was working in the carnival and doing the bookings, my dad always used to tell me that if you don't ask, they can't say yes. And he would usually tell me that after somebody had just told me no. And usually they were telling me no in a mean way. That's why he had to remind me to keep moving forward. And I've put this into my own terms recently, and I understand from a lot of people that when they think about it this way, it makes a lot of sense and it makes it easier for them to actually act upon it. And that is when you fail or when you refuse to ask other people for help, you're robbing them of the joy that comes from helping another human being who can do nothing for them but say thank you.
Wow.
You know, you're stealing
Yeah.
stealing that joy, that passion, that experience they get from helping somebody else. And in many cases, these people have years of experience, or they were born with natural gifts, and they may be at a point where they're looking for somebody to come along and make them feel needed and wanted by asking for help.
Yeah, actually, yeah, giving them the favor to really meet their needs, to be of help, you know, to be valuable to other people, right? To say yes, I can help you. Wonderful. And yeah, that's I also agree. It's really like a saying yes to yourself and also asking for the help from other people. I really appreciate your humbleness, you know, really keep yourself humble, and you can ask people help and realize that everybody, no matter what kind of life limitation we have the limits. We need to admit that and face it, and then to seek help from other more experienced and more, you know, people with more gifts. Yeah,
right.
But
and
we all have a special gift, and this is your gift now you are sharing with us. It's your unique one.
You know, it's interesting you said that, because I have a good friend who's always after me. She's like, Max, I know you've been cold calling and emailing for years. You have this experience. You know how to do this. I'll never be able to do it like that. And so I have to remind myself that, you know, that this is a real talent or skill built up over years of practice. And it's important to treasure that skill or ability and remind myself, hey, this isn't just, it's not something to be taken lightly, the fact that I have this ability to just keep asking those questions and just keep sending out those emails or making those phone calls.
Yeah.
And the other thing is this is one of those places where being blind is a real advantage, because people don't think a second thought if a blind person asks them for help.
You get the advantage, no privilege.
Yeah, it's a privilege. Yeah, it's one of the few benefits I get. Yeah.
Yeah, and another one, just like you said, another key to success is you keep learning, right? Take years of each of us to really build up some expertise in certain area. It's really like keep yourself open, keep learning, keep that curiosity. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, wonderful. So at the end, I know you, Maxwell, you have some great gift to share with people. That's why I call you the expert on the air. Would you like to introduce your gift?
Yeah, sure. I am known for getting people booked on radio shows and podcasts. That's what I do, or it's the one thing I do that generates the most income. And people, if I have an online course that I created, it has about 3 hours of audio of me talking people through everything they need to know about getting themselves booked on podcasts and radio shows, so they can share their story, reach wider audiences, and build up that audience in advance of their own books or courses or public speaking or whatever it is that they will eventually need to promote at some point. And I love doing it through radio shows and podcasts, because you get to have conversations like this great conversation I'm having with you today. And it's so much more fun, more energizing than sending text messages or emails or having a tweet chat or many of the other options, as opposed to just being on the phone or online and having a talk. So if people will go to theblindblogger.net/rockstar, they can sign up to my email list, and they will get the audio downloads free of charge. It's normally a $97 course. And if they'll sign up there, they can get the audio downloads. And if after listening through them, they have questions, they're welcome to email me with their questions. They're also welcome to, I won't be a bit surprised if after listening to them, people go, Max, you're working way too hard to get this exposure. What would you charge me to do it for me? So we'll see what people decide after they listen to it. But it's they'll get one audio every 2 or 3 days, and it covers everything from why you should be doing this to how to find the shows to creating a pitch email, coming up with what is on your media kit page and other things that you need. But the one thing that runs throughout the whole course, it's the most important thing people need to know and have to remember if they want to pitch anything.
Yeah.
Nobody buys you. Nobody buys your product. Nobody buys your service. They buy your story.
Yeah.
Know what your story is. Be confident in your story. Be willing to tell your story. Don't be afraid of your story. And remember, the best thing about telling your story is nobody else knows it better than you do. So there is no question
Yeah.
a host can ask you that you don't already know the answer to. You just have to go, am I ready? Am I willing to share this story? And oh, by the way, we need you all to share your stories. There are so many people out there who have better stories than yours and better stories than mine, but they're keeping them to themselves, and we need to hear them. So I hope a lot of your people will sign up for the course. You know, on my website, there's a success stories page where they're welcome to check out the people I've been helping so far and reach out to them to see what they have to say about me. But I tell you, it's been a really crazy thing from beginning to end, and I think it's important that I mention this just so people out there who are starting their own businesses will get this.
Wow.
I did my first radio show 5 years ago on the Brian Hammer Jackson show. They had an open call for people to come on and talk about their small businesses on Friday.
Wow.
I did his show. It wasn't a great appearance, but he liked me enough. He asked me to come back the next week. After that, he had me on every Friday for 6 months.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
every day, oh yeah, amazing. He did wonders for the Midway marketplace as far as traffic and stuff. I miss being on his show, but you know, after you do something for a while, you have to either change it up or grow to more and bigger shows, or you kind of, you know, stagnate and slide back the other way. But I consider Brian a great friend and an online mentor as far as radio goes, because he's kind of an irreverent, kind of a brash guy who you never know what he's going to say. So it was a lot of great practice in getting used to answering weird questions or having strange conversations, because you know, it's one of those muscles you have to stretch. You have to get to where no matter what the host says, you can think of something to say without taking that 30-second or 60-second pause. That's the death of all radio and television. So, you know, after 6 months, I started looking into other shows. Some people who had been reading my comments on their blog said, "Hey, Max, we're starting shows. Would you like to come on?" And from there, I started sending out more pitches. A year and a half ago, people were like, "Max, can you tell me how to do this?" And I was telling them how to do it. And then finally, one of them said, "Max, you can't keep giving away this kind of information, this kind of effort for free." So I created the course, and I offered to help 3 people for free. I was blessed to get 3 people who showed up and worked with me on defining their stories and creating their profiles. And
wow, congratulations! You really started a business.
Yeah,
it's a business for you.
Yeah, and then after 6 months with those 3 people, which I got to thank Alex Okoroji from the Naked Talk, Tim Olson, aka Timo, and David Steele, who's a poet from the UK who's losing his vision. He's known for a string of poems called Stand Up to RP, which if you've never read him or heard his singing, you need to go find David Steele. He's amazing, and that's coming from me saying it.
Wow.
He's one of those guys I wish I could be when I grow up kind of guys. So those 3 people, I'm blessed that they showed up and took advantage of the free offer. And after working with them for 6 months, I was ready to start offering it as a paid service. So now I help people get booked and get exposure. And what I really like working with, my ideal client are authors, musicians, and filmmakers, but you have to have a good story. I mean, I want people who have overcome and achieved and came from bad circumstances or grew up in bad homes, or people who, you know, were wore out by the business world and had to switch jobs because of their health. I'm looking for somebody that has those kind of stories you see in the TV movies. That's the kind of people I want to help get exposure, because those are the kind of stories of overcoming and triumph that people need if they're going to continue in their own lives.
Wow. Yeah. Really, those people who had that, even though you have the big challenges, but you have the story how to overcome. Maybe they're still experiencing some challenges, right? I think your inspiration can help them, encourage them to make that breakthrough and get their story out and, you know, really get themselves visible and also heard by people, and get their story out and get their unique expertise and service to serve more people. Wonderful.
Okay, and I want to say just one more thing about story. I went through this myself. It took a while for people to finally convince me that my story was inspiring.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of people who I listen to them and I'm like, you know, you're incredible. Your story is amazing. Why aren't you telling it? And their opinion of their story is, that they're nothing special. They're just doing what they have to do to get from here to there, or from this day to the next day. So if you're listening to me or watching me or however this works, if you doubt that you have a story worth telling, ask me or Spring. Tell us about yourself. Put it in the comments on the show notes or something.
Yeah.
Let us know a little bit about you. Send us a website or a Facebook page so we can get to know you. I believe that just about every single one of you, if you're a member of this group especially, you have a story. You just don't realize it yet.
I believe in that too. Yes. Yes, we will help you to dig out your story, and especially your purposeful passion. That's my passion, actually. My call to help people really, discover their purposeful passion, release that, and really unleash that, and to create some passionate business and successful business. So wonderful, so much. And Maxwell, I will share your link, your course under our post, and also comments, so people will know what you shared, the gift you bring to them. Thank you so much for your generosity and for being with me today. And it's a great pleasure to interview you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, for having me on, for being such an outgoing, interested, curious, gracious type of person. The kind of people that we need more of online. We need more real people, and less of these people where everything they post is just what's going on good in their lives. So we need real. And there's something that just occurred to me while you were talking there is, isn't it kind of funny? We're having this conversation, me as a guest on your show or on your page. If you think about it, me and you, we should be collaborating. I mean, we offer different services that apply to the same kinds of people. And I don't know why that didn't occur to me until now, but that's another thing I really believe in, is that in addition to asking for help, another way you can ask for help is if you see somebody who you like and respect, there's nothing wrong with asking them if they want to collaborate, or if maybe they know of an opportunity you don't know about yet. So,
yeah, sure. I love, all these partnerships, and, we do not just do interviews and we end there. No, in my group of founder entrepreneurs, we really like
I love that.
Yeah, experts connect together, and we inspire each other, encourage each other, and also at the same time cooperate to, provide us resources and support to each other. Like this time, I highlight you, and the next time maybe you get an opportunity to highlight me, and we will definitely share better of our services to reach more people. Yeah. So thank you again, Maxwell. I'm so honored and happy to interview you today, and I hope people who are listening to us are getting. Let me see. They are getting the inspirations. Let me see if we have any live to say one. Can you see if sorry, I cannot say, sorry, you can see it. To see if anybody is giving us the live, so I'm jumping into different screens to see anyone if it's with us on the live screen.
I envy people who can actually still talk to me while they're jumping between screens. That's just not my wheelhouse.
I admit to you that.
I can't have that many voices in my head at one time. That just would not work. And I'm hoping that I meet while you're looking for that, I hope I meet some great people out here who want to come on my show, What's Your Excuse, and share their stories and their experiences. And I look forward to having you on my show someday.
Yeah, and actually here, because today is my inspiration and implementation time live with me. So after this interview, I also want to highlight a few, a few great resources and also inspirations we've been sharing this week. So far for this month, I've already highlighted, a few great resources. First is I challenge everybody to take this time, this end of this year, right, 2017, and right before 2018, take the challenge to reflect the whole year and review what you've done, what great accomplishment you've already made, and how do you finish 2017 strong, right? I ask you the questions. I want people to really review what they need now, what things they can still do by the end of this year to make their, have a great and fulfilling closure of 2017. At the same time, I heard quite some entrepreneurs mention that they need this, accountability system, the support to hold them accountable, to really focus on their priorities, to get things done, to make the transformation, and the transition from the end of the year to the next year, and also get out of this. Sometimes they feel stuck on something, they need help. Like Maxwell mentioned, ask for help. So I would like to encourage all our members and also the entrepreneurs to open yourself to ask for help, to seek help, seek the right experts and masters to help you in your business, in your life. And I also provided a few private coaching spots. It's a favorable ones during the holidays. So I call this New Year transformation coaching. Just 5 spots for people who are qualified, who really want to make this transition through the end of this year and make new, greater touch for the next year. And need my help to hold them accountable and keep them on the track to really fulfill their want to reach. And
really good of you. That's because I realized in the last week that I needed an accountability partner because I was having trouble getting motivated to do the final edits on my last book. And somebody yesterday said, Max, I can't believe you're procrastinating. I said, no, I can't believe it either. And so since then, I've been posting like what chapters I've done and how many I have left. And I just before I did this, I posted over on the ladies' Facebook page that I was up to chapter 17 of 24. So it's even people who seem to have it together still need help. They still need accountability partners.
Sure.
So those of you who are thinking about reaching out to Spring as an accountability partner or as taking one of these 5 coaching spots she just mentioned, you ought to do it, because if somebody like me can still say, hey, I need more help, there are things I need to improve in. At this point, if I can still say that, there's nothing wrong with anybody else saying it. And I'll be interested to see how long it takes for you to fill those 5 spots, because we've only got roughly 25 days left till the New Year is here. That's a lot of time. That's enough time to make one new real change or real habit in your life before the ball drops.
Sure, totally. Normally we need up to like 21 days, right, to create the new habits and create something different. So we still have a good time. And also another great resource I shared, I joined the partners giveaway. I shared it in my page and also group. It's called the Best Year Yet giveaway, and there are over 25, I think, experts, including me. I'm highlighted on the top of the day 10. I shared my giveaway gifts. It's a trial gifts. This is the best opportunity for you to get my both discover your greatest niche. Is both a quiz. You take the quiz and you will get your personal quiz result report, and then you will have your invitation for a complimentary quiz result decoding consultation. And then also I have the free survey, the survey report downloadable. It's called Discover Your Ideal Niche. Learn from the top 11 challenges entrepreneurs would pay you to solve today. So take this, the best opportunity to join in the event and get all the great gifts that's sharing by the industry experts and leaders. And finally, I highlighted as well for this month is for my great, friend and also a partner, Nancy Jeanette, and her gift I shared in our group. It's she's also giving away a seminar, not really the same, but it's on different focus. It's called the Niche and Grow Rich Toolkit. Once you download that toolkit, you can also get to access to her upcoming free webinar. It's a masterclass called 3 Best Ways to Rapidly Get Your, get more speaking gigs on live and virtual stages. I think, Maxwell, maybe you will be interested in that topic as well, right?
I would definitely be interested in that topic, as you know, because I've been posting all over Facebook about my first public talk earlier this year. And even if I had been done 100 of them, I would still think there was more I could learn about the whole process. And of course, the real knack, from what I understand, is not just getting booked and not just being on stage. The real trick, as I understand it, is selling from the stage or turning these stage appearances into something that generates real income. And those are again things you only learn from years of practice. And why should we fight for years if she's already done it for us?
Yeah, Nancy Dretton, she's definitely an expert in this zone. She has been successful for years. So it's a great resource to learn from her. It's a masterclass, 3 best ways to rapidly get it booked on more live and virtual stages. And she also shared her success manifesto. So I shared on my page and also group. So welcome all the entrepreneurs to visit and get the best resources. So that's it for today, I think. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Maxwell, to share this great time with you for live.
Well,
You know, I
thank
really,
you.
yeah.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to continuing to talk with you both online and occasionally over the phone or Zoom. So thank you again,
Yeah,
and have
sure.
a great weekend.
You too, you too. This, by the way, this video will be shared on YouTube as well. I will share with you the link, and you can feel free to share with your network. You know, really great opportunity to get heard by more people. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
All right.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.